Food is a universal language that transcends borders, cultures, and time. It is a necessity for survival, an art form, a ritual, and an expression of identity. Every bite of food carries stories of human ingenuity, survival, and identity. Food serves as a unifying force, symbol of heritage, and a marker of social and cultural practices. Food is central to human existence, acting as a catalyst for innovation and social evolution. It often acts as a cultural emblem, representing the history, values, and traditions of a community. It also serves as a marker of personal identity, influenced by one's upbringing, geography, and heritage. Food plays a role in rituals and ceremonies across the globe, from religious offerings to celebratory feasts. Through its universal presence and cultural specificity, food serves as a lens through which we can better understand humanity. Throughout history, food has been a silent witness to humanity's greatest triumphs and struggles. It has mirrored the complexities of trade, migration, conquest, and innovation. Trade routes such as the Silk Road and the Spice Route were conduits for culinary exchange, with spices like cinnamon, pepper, and saffron traveling vast distances to enrich cuisines far from their origins. Innovation has left an indelible mark on the history of food, with the invention of bread, fermentation of wine, and cultivation of crops like rice and wheat being milestones in human civilization. Culinary techniques have evolved alongside technological advancements, and even in modern times, food continues to reflect societal shifts, such as the rise of plant-based diets in response to environmental concerns. Food has always been a cornerstone of civilization, reflecting the ingenuity, culture, and spirituality of ancient societies. Each civilization left behind a culinary legacy that not only shaped their time but continues to influence global cuisines today. This chapter delves into the culinary innovations and traditions of four major ancient civilizations: Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and Mesoamerica, exploring how their culinary practices laid the foundation for modern gastronomy. Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization, is also recognized as the birthplace of bread. Situated between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, this fertile land was ideal for cultivating wheat and barley, two grains that revolutionized human diets. Bread was more than sustenance in Mesopotamia; it was a symbol of prosperity and a staple that supported the growth of urban societies. Archaeological evidence suggests that early humans in this region transitioned from a nomadic lifestyle to settled farming communities due to the cultivation of grains. This shift allowed for the mass production of bread, which became a daily essential for all classes. Bread also played a significant role in religious and social practices. It was often offered to gods in temples, symbolizing gratitude and reverence. In cuneiform tablets, we find records of bread recipes, including flatbreads baked on hot stones and leavened breads that marked the beginning of fermentation techniques. The act of baking bread became a communal and cultural activity, reflecting the interconnectedness of ancient Mesopotamian societies. Flatbreads were among the earliest forms of bread, made from coarsely ground flour and water. Excavations in Mesopotamia have unearthed ancient ovens and grinding stones, providing insights into early baking techniques. The development of flatbreads coincided with advancements in agriculture, particularly the domestication of wheat and barley. The surplus of grain enabled trade and economic stability. Mesopotamian farmers and bakers pioneered techniques like milling and fermentation, setting the stage for the diverse bread traditions we see today. Their innovations underscore the profound connection between agriculture and civilization. Wheat cultivation was so vital that it became a cornerstone of trade, influencing neighboring regions and laying the foundation for future empires. Egyptian civilization, flourishing along the Nile, is renowned for its contributions to food and drink. Two culinary innovations stand out: beer and honeyed desserts, both of which were integral to Egyptian life and rituals. Beer was more than a beverage in ancient Egypt; it was a vital part of the diet and a symbol of life. Made from fermented barley bread and water, beer was consumed daily by people of all social classes. It was considered a nutritious drink, providing essential calories and hydration, especially in the arid climate. The brewing process was often depicted in tomb art, highlighting its importance. Beer was also a key offering to the gods, particularly Osiris, the god of agriculture and fertility. Workers who built the pyramids were paid in bread and beer, underscoring its role as currency and sustenance. These payments ensured the workers remained nourished and productive, reflecting the Egyptian understanding of food as a source of both physical and societal stability. Egyptian beer was often flavored with ingredients like herbs and dates, adding depth to its taste. Brewing techniques became increasingly sophisticated over time, influencing later civilizations. The widespread consumption of beer in Egypt also underscores the communal aspect of dining and drinking, fostering connections within communities. Egyptians had a penchant for sweet flavors, with honey being their primary sweetener. Honey was considered a divine substance, often used in religious offerings and medicinal recipes. Honeyed desserts, such as pastries filled with dates and nuts, were prepared for feasts and ceremonies. Pharaohs were particularly fond of sweet treats, and their tombs often contained recipes and ingredients for the afterlife. These desserts were not merely indulgences but symbols of luxury and divine favor. Honey was often harvested from wild bees, and its rarity added to its value. Egyptian cooks experimented with combining honey with various grains, fruits, and nuts, creating an array of confections that celebrated life and honored the gods. The legacy of Egyptian sweets can be seen in modern Middle Eastern and Mediterranean confections, which still use honey as a key ingredient. The cultural and spiritual significance of these desserts has endured, highlighting the timeless appeal of sweet flavors. China's rich culinary history includes the invention of noodles, a staple that has transcended borders and become a global phenomenon. The origins of noodles in Chinese culture reveal the ingenuity of ancient cooks and their influence on world cuisine. The earliest evidence of noodles dates back to 4,000 years ago in China, where archaeologists discovered a bowl of millet-based noodles preserved in sediment. These early noodles were likely hand-pulled or cut from dough, reflecting the resourcefulness of ancient Chinese cooks. Noodles quickly became a dietary staple due to their versatility, affordability, and ease of storage. They were often paired with vegetables, meats, and broths, creating a balanced and satisfying meal. Over time, regional variations emerged, from wheat-based noodles in the north to rice noodles in the south. The adaptability of noodles made them a symbol of sustenance and resilience, particularly during periods of scarcity. The Chinese invention of noodles predates Italian pasta by centuries, though the two share similarities in preparation and cultural significance. While Marco Polo is often credited with bringing noodles from China to Italy, evidence suggests that pasta evolved independently in the Mediterranean. However, the global influence of Chinese noodles is undeniable, inspiring dishes like ramen in Japan, pho in Vietnam, and countless others worldwide. Chinese noodles symbolize adaptability and culinary innovation, traits that continue to define Chinese cuisine today. Their journey from ancient kitchens to global tables underscores the enduring appeal of this humble yet transformative food. The techniques and traditions associated with noodle making have been passed down through generations, preserving the artistry and cultural significance of this staple. Mesoamerican civilizations, including the Maya and Aztecs, made groundbreaking contributions to the world of food with their cultivation of cacao and maize. These ingredients were not only dietary staples but also sacred symbols deeply ingrained in their cultures. Cacao held a revered status in Mesoamerican societies, often referred to as the food of the gods. The Maya and Aztecs used cacao beans as currency, and chocolate drinks were consumed during religious ceremonies and royal rituals. Unlike the sweet chocolate we know today, these drinks were often bitter, spiced with chili and other flavorings. Cacao was believed to have divine and medicinal properties, associated with fertility, strength, and wisdom. The Aztecs offered cacao to their gods and served it to warriors before battle. The Spanish conquest brought cacao to Europe, where it evolved into the sweetened chocolate we cherish today, but its sacred origins remain a testament to Mesoamerican innovation. The cultivation and preparation of cacao required skill and reverence. Cacao pods were carefully harvested, fermented, and ground into a paste. This paste was then mixed with water, chili, and spices to create a frothy beverage. The preparation and consumption of cacao were deeply ritualistic, reflecting its importance in Mesoamerican society. Maize, or corn, was the cornerstone of Mesoamerican diets and a symbol of life itself. The process of nixtamalization, which involves soaking corn in an alkaline solution, allowed ancient cooks to create masa, the dough used for tortillas and tamales. This innovation not only made corn more nutritious but also versatile. Corn featured prominently in religious rituals, myths, and daily meals. The Maya believed humans were created from maize, and their gods were often depicted holding ears of corn. This sacred crop sustained empires and shaped culinary traditions that endure in modern Mexican and Central American cuisines. Maize was used in a variety of dishes, from tamales wrapped in banana leaves to atole, a traditional corn-based beverage. The ingenuity of Mesoamerican cooks in transforming corn into diverse and flavorful dishes underscores its cultural and culinary significance. The methods developed by these ancient civilizations continue to influence contemporary cooking, highlighting the enduring legacy of maize. Spices have played a pivotal role in shaping the culinary and cultural landscapes of civilizations across the globe. Their value extended far beyond the kitchen, influencing trade, exploration, and the rise and fall of empires. This chapter explores the rich history of the spice trade, the cultural diffusion of flavors, and the profound impact of spices on global cuisines and economies. The spice trade was one of the earliest forms of global commerce, connecting civilizations from the Mediterranean to Asia. Spices like cinnamon, pepper, and cloves were highly prized for their ability to preserve food, enhance flavor, and serve medicinal and ritualistic purposes. Cinnamon, native to Sri Lanka and parts of Southeast Asia, was among the earliest spices traded. Ancient Egyptians used it for embalming and as a perfume, while the Romans valued it as a luxury item for cooking and religious ceremonies. By the Middle Ages, cinnamon had become a symbol of wealth and status in Europe. Arab merchants controlled its trade, spinning elaborate tales about its origins to maintain its high value. The Portuguese were the first Europeans to establish direct control over the cinnamon trade in the 16th century, followed by the Dutch and the British. The pursuit of cinnamon fueled naval expeditions and colonial ambitions, making it a cornerstone of the global spice trade. Pepper, originating from the Malabar coast of India, was another highly sought-after spice. Known as black gold, it was traded as early as 1000 BCE, reaching markets in Greece, Rome, and later, medieval Europe. Pepper's ability to enhance the flavor of preserved meats made it indispensable in European cuisine, particularly during the colder months when fresh food was scarce. Arab and Venetian merchants controlled the pepper trade for centuries, reaping enormous profits. The desire to bypass these middlemen and access pepper directly was a significant motivator for European exploration. Vasco da Gama's voyage to India in 1498 marked the beginning of direct European involvement in the spice trade, forever altering global trade dynamics. Cloves, native to the Maluku Islands, Spice Islands, of Indonesia, were highly valued for their aromatic and preservative qualities. They were used in Chinese medicine as early as 200 BCE and became a staple in the cuisines of the Middle East and Europe. Arab traders introduced cloves to the Roman Empire, where they were used to mask unpleasant odors and as a luxury culinary ingredient. European powers, particularly the Portuguese and the Dutch, vied for control of the clove trade. The Dutch East India Company established a monopoly by destroying clove trees outside their territories, a brutal strategy that underscored the immense value of this spice. Today, cloves remain a key ingredient in global cuisines, from Indian biryanis to European mulled wine. Curry, a term derived from the Tamil word curry, meaning sauce or gravy, originated in India but has since become a global phenomenon. The adaptability of curry allowed it to be embraced and transformed by various cultures, resulting in a myriad of interpretations. Indian curries are characterized by the use of a complex blend of spices, including turmeric, cumin, coriander, and fenugreek. These combinations, often ground into masalas, vary regionally, reflecting the diverse culinary traditions of India. Curry was more than food, it was a reflection of India's rich agricultural resources and culinary innovation. Curries were also integral to religious and cultural practices. Vegetarian curries were staples in Hindu households, while Mughal influence introduced rich, meat-based curries like korma and biryani. The abundance of spices in India made curry a staple that transcended social and economic boundaries. The spread of curry beyond India is a testament to its versatility. In Southeast Asia, Indian curry evolved into local variations like Thai green curry, Malaysian rendang, and Indonesian gulai, incorporating indigenous ingredients like coconut milk, lemongrass, and galangal. The British, enamored with Indian cuisine during their colonial rule, adapted curry to suit their palates. Dishes like chicken tikka masala and mulligatawny soup were born, blending Indian spices with Western techniques. Today, curry is a staple in British cuisine, with curry houses becoming iconic fixtures. In Japan, curry was introduced by the British in the 19th century and adapted into a milder, sweeter form known as kare. It is now one of Japan's most beloved comfort foods. The global journey of curry illustrates how food can bridge cultures and create new culinary traditions. The Portuguese played a crucial role in the global diffusion of chili peppers, transforming cuisines across Asia and beyond. Native to the Americas, chili peppers were introduced to Europe and then to Asia by Portuguese explorers in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. Chili peppers were brought to India by the Portuguese, who established trading posts along the western coast. Initially regarded as a novelty, chili quickly became a staple in Indian cuisine, replacing black pepper in many dishes due to its affordability and intense flavor. The spice's heat complemented Indian cooking, enhancing curries, pickles, and chutneys. From India, chili peppers spread to Southeast Asia, China, and beyond. In Thailand, they became integral to dishes like tom yum soup and som tam salad. In China, Sichuan cuisine embraced chili's fiery heat, creating iconic dishes like mapo tofu and kung pao chicken. The adaptability of chili peppers made them a transformative ingredient in global cuisines. Chili peppers not only revolutionized cooking but also influenced local economies. In India, regions like Andhra Pradesh became major producers of chili, contributing to agricultural livelihoods. The spice's popularity also inspired festivals and cultural traditions, celebrating its fiery allure. The introduction of chili peppers underscores the interconnectedness of global trade and culinary innovation. It highlights how a single ingredient can reshape entire cuisines and become a symbol of cultural identity. The pursuit of spices was a driving force behind European exploration, colonization, and the establishment of global trade networks. Spices like nutmeg, mace, and saffron were not merely commodities, they were symbols of wealth and power. European powers, motivated by the lucrative spice trade, embarked on voyages to find direct routes to Asia. The Portuguese, under Vasco da Gama, established a sea route to India, bypassing Arab and Venetian middlemen. This marked the beginning of European dominance in the spice trade. The Spanish, driven by similar ambitions, funded Christopher Columbus' expedition, leading to the discovery of the Americas. Although Columbus did not find the spices he sought, he introduced Europe to new ingredients like chili peppers and vanilla, reshaping European cuisine. The Dutch East India Company, VOC, and the British East India Company were instrumental in monopolizing the spice trade. The VOC established control over the Spice Islands, using aggressive tactics to secure nutmeg and cloves. The British focused on India, leveraging its spice wealth to fuel their empire. Spices became central to colonial economies, driving the exploitation of labor and resources. Plantations in the Americas and Asia were established to cultivate spices, often using enslaved or indentured workers. This exploitation highlights the darker side of the spice trade, where culinary luxury came at a human cost. The spice trade not only transformed global cuisines but also facilitated cultural exchange. It introduced Europeans to exotic flavors and fostered the fusion of culinary traditions. Today, the legacy of the spice trade is evident in dishes like Indonesian rendang, Moroccan tajin, and Indian biryani, which reflect the interconnectedness of global foodways. The Age of Exploration marked a transformative period in history, as European powers ventured across oceans to discover new lands, establish trade routes, and acquire exotic goods. Among the most significant outcomes of these voyages was the Columbian Exchange, an immense transfer of plants, animals, and cultures between the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia. The potato, native to the Andean region of South America, was first cultivated by the Inca civilization over 7,000 years ago. It was a staple crop, providing sustenance in the harsh high-altitude environment of the Andes. The Incas revered the potato, incorporating it into their religious ceremonies and daily life. Its nutritional value, resilience, and versatility made it indispensable. Spanish conquistadors encountered the potato during their conquest of the Inca Empire in the 16th century. Recognizing its potential, they brought it back to Europe, where it initially faced skepticism and resistance. Over time, however, the potato gained acceptance and became a cornerstone of European diets. The potato's introduction to Europe revolutionized agriculture and food systems. Its high yield and adaptability to diverse climates made it a vital crop, particularly in regions with poor soil. By the 18th century, the potato had become a dietary staple in countries like Ireland, Germany, and Russia, fueling population growth and economic stability. In Ireland, the potato's dominance led to both prosperity and tragedy. The Irish potato famine of the 1840s, caused by a devastating blight, resulted in mass starvation and emigration, highlighting the crop's dual role as a savior and a symbol of vulnerability. Beyond Europe, the potato spread to Asia and Africa, transforming cuisines and agricultural practices. In China, it became a crucial food source for rural communities, while in Africa, it contributed to food security. Today, the potato remains one of the world's most important crops, a testament to its enduring legacy. The tomato, native to Mesoamerica, was cultivated by the Aztecs and other indigenous peoples. Known as tomatal in Nahuatl, it was a key ingredient in their cuisine, used in sauces, stews, and beverages. Spanish explorers brought the tomato to Europe in the early 16th century, where it was initially met with suspicion due to its association with the nightshade family, some members of which were toxic. Over time, the tomato overcame its dubious reputation and found its way into European kitchens. By the 18th century, it had become a defining ingredient in Mediterranean cuisine, particularly in Italy. In Italy, the tomato's versatility and flavor revolutionized culinary traditions. It became the star of iconic dishes such as pasta sauces, pizza, and caprese salad. The development of canned tomatoes in the 19th century further cemented their role in Italian cooking, enabling the preservation of flavors year-round. The tomato's journey from Mesoamerica to Italy is a testament to the power of cultural exchange and adaptation. Today, it is nearly impossible to imagine Italian cuisine without the tomato, a once exotic fruit that became a global staple. Sugarcane, originally domesticated in Southeast Asia, was introduced to the Americas by European colonists. The Caribbean, with its tropical climate, became the epicenter of sugar production. The establishment of vast sugar plantations required a labor force, leading to the transatlantic slave trade. Enslaved Africans were forcibly brought to the Americas to work under brutal conditions on sugar plantations. The demand for sugar in Europe fueled this inhumane system, creating a cycle of exploitation that lasted for centuries. Sugar became a symbol of wealth and luxury, consumed in elaborate desserts and confections by the European elite. The sugar trade transformed global economies, driving the growth of colonial empires and fostering the development of capitalist markets. It also shaped cultural practices, from British afternoon tea to Caribbean rum production. However, the human cost of sugar's rise remains a dark chapter in history, marked by suffering and resilience. Today, sugar continues to play a central role in global diets, but its history serves as a reminder of the complexities of culinary globalization. Cacao, native to Mesoamerica, held deep cultural and spiritual significance for the Maya and Aztecs. The Maya considered cacao a gift from the gods, using it in rituals and as currency. The Aztecs prepared a bitter, frothy drink called zacalatl, flavored with chili and spices, which was consumed by nobles and warriors for its energizing properties. Spanish conquistadors introduced cacao to Europe in the 16th century, where it underwent significant transformation. In Europe, cacao was sweetened with sugar and milk, creating a luxurious beverage that became a favorite among aristocrats. By the 18th century, advancements in processing techniques led to the production of solid chocolate, paving the way for the modern confectionery industry. Chocolate's popularity spurred the establishment of cacao plantations in the Americas and Africa, often relying on enslaved labor. Like sugar, chocolate's history is intertwined with colonial exploitation and economic ambition. Today, chocolate is a beloved treat enjoyed worldwide, from artisan creations to mass-produced candy bars. Its journey from sacred Mesoamerican drink to global indulgence highlights the transformative power of the Columbian exchange. European cuisine boasts a rich tapestry of iconic dishes, each with a story that reflects the history, culture, and innovations of its origins. These dishes, rooted in tradition, have transcended borders to become global symbols of culinary excellence. We will explore the fascinating histories behind pizza, French cuisine, fish and chips, and Spanish paella, delving into their origins, transformations, and cultural significance. Pizza, as we know it today, originated in the bustling streets of Naples, Italy, during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Initially considered a food for the working class, it was affordable, portable, and satisfying. Early pizzas were simple flatbreads topped with ingredients like garlic, lard, salt, and local herbs. The addition of tomatoes, introduced to Europe through the Columbian exchange, revolutionized pizza, giving it the vibrant red base we associate with it today. One of the pivotal moments in pizza's history occurred in 1889, when Queen Margherita of Savoy visited Naples. To honor her visit, a Neapolitan pizzaiolo, Raffaele Esposito, created a pizza resembling the colors of the Italian flag: red, tomato, white, mozzarella, and green, basil. This creation, known as Pizza Margherita, elevated pizza from a street food to a dish worthy of royalty. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw waves of Italian immigrants bringing their culinary traditions to countries like the United States, where pizza quickly gained popularity. In post-World War II America, pizza became a cultural phenomenon, aided by the rise of fast food chains and the advent of frozen pizza. Today, pizza is a global icon, adapted to local tastes and ingredients. From thin-crust Neapolitan styles to deep-dish Chicago pizzas and innovative toppings in Asia, pizza's evolution reflects its universal appeal and adaptability. French cuisine's reputation for sophistication and refinement traces back to its royal roots. During the reigns of monarchs like Louis XIV, the French court set the standard for culinary excellence. Lavish banquets featured intricate dishes such as escargot, snails cooked in garlic butter, foie gras, fatty liver, and pâtisserie delights. One of the most notable contributions to French cuisine was the development of the haute cuisine style in the 17th and 18th centuries. This period saw the rise of professional chefs who crafted elaborate recipes and emphasized presentation, balance, and flavor harmony. Many of these chefs worked in royal kitchens, perfecting techniques that became the foundation of modern French cooking. The croissant, one of France's most beloved pastries, has its origins in Austria. The story goes that the crescent-shaped pastry was created to celebrate the defeat of the Ottoman Empire during the Siege of Vienna in 1683. Austrian bakers brought this treat to France, where it was embraced and refined into the buttery, flaky croissant we know today. French cuisine's legacy continues to thrive, with dishes like coq au vin, ratatouille, and bouillabaisse showcasing the diversity and artistry of the nation's culinary traditions. Fish and chips, a quintessentially British dish, has roots in the Jewish immigrant community. Sephardic Jews fleeing persecution in Spain and Portugal brought with them the practice of frying fish in batter, a method that preserved the fish and enhanced its flavor. This culinary tradition merged with the British custom of frying potatoes, creating the iconic pairing. The first recorded fish and chip shop opened in London in the 1860s, credited to Joseph Malin, a Jewish immigrant. The dish quickly became a staple of the working class, offering an affordable and satisfying meal during the Industrial Revolution. Fish and chips became a symbol of British resilience during World War II, as it was one of the few foods not rationed. It remains a beloved comfort food, enjoyed in seaside towns and urban centers alike. Today, modern variations and sustainable sourcing have kept this classic dish relevant in the 21st century. Paella, one of Spain's most iconic dishes, originated in the coastal region of Valencia. Traditionally cooked in a wide, shallow pan over an open flame, paella was a communal dish, bringing together families and communities. The name paella derives from the Latin word patella, meaning pan, emphasizing the importance of the cooking vessel. The original paella, known as paella valenciana, featured ingredients such as rabbit, chicken, green beans, and saffron. Rice, introduced to Spain by the Moors, served as the dish's foundation, absorbing the flavors of the other ingredients. As paella gained popularity, it evolved to include regional variations. Seafood paella, made with shrimp, mussels, and squid, became a favorite in coastal areas. The dish's vibrant presentation and rich flavors made it a symbol of Spanish culture, celebrated at festivals and gatherings. Today, paella is enjoyed worldwide, with chefs and home cooks adding their own twists to this beloved dish. Its adaptability and communal nature have ensured its place as a culinary icon. The culinary traditions of the Middle East and South Asia reflect the region's rich cultural, historical, and geopolitical tapestry. For centuries, the interchange of trade, migrations, and empires has shaped the food that we now associate with the region. We delve into the history and evolution of iconic dishes and ingredients, examining their significance, origins, and how they have adapted to modern tastes and lifestyles. Among the most beloved foods in the Middle East and beyond are hummus and falafel. These dishes have long been staples in Middle Eastern cuisine, their popularity extending across continents, particularly in Western countries. Hummus, a smooth and creamy spread made from mashed chickpeas, tahini, sesame paste, olive oil, garlic, and lemon juice, is often eaten as a dip or spread with pita bread. Falafel, on the other hand, refers to deep-fried balls or patties made from ground chickpeas, or fava beans, and a mixture of herbs and spices. The origins of both hummus and falafel have sparked spirited debates between nations, with Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Israel, and Jordan all claiming to have invented them. The roots of hummus, in particular, are unclear, though it is evident that it has ancient origins. Some sources suggest that variations of chickpea-based pastes have been consumed in the Mediterranean region since antiquity, even before the spread of Islam. Hummus, in its current form, is believed to have been popularized in Lebanon, with the first documented mention of the dish coming from 13th-century cookbooks in the Arab world. However, Palestinians and Syrians also argue that they were the true originators, citing the dish's deep association with their agricultural lands and culinary traditions. Falafel, on the other hand, was likely born in Egypt, where fava beans were the primary base for the dish before chickpeas became more widely used. Ancient Egyptians are believed to have enjoyed a dish similar to falafel, called ta'ameya, made from fava beans, which has survived and evolved into the version made from chickpeas that is now popular worldwide. The transformation of falafel into a widely consumed dish occurred as it spread throughout the Levantine region. It quickly became a dish beloved by the working class and the poor, thanks to its inexpensive and nutritious ingredients. During the 20th century, as migration from the Middle East brought food traditions to new parts of the world, hummus and falafel became emblematic of Middle Eastern cuisine, enjoyed by people of all backgrounds. The significance of these dishes, however, transcends simple culinary enjoyment. For many in the Middle East, hummus and falafel are national symbols, representing identity, pride, and resistance. In times of conflict, food can serve as a powerful tool for asserting cultural ownership. The debates about the authentic origins of hummus and falafel are deeply entangled with regional politics and national narratives, making these humble foods not just about taste but also about belonging. Today, hummus and falafel have traveled beyond their regional origins and become international symbols of healthy eating and Mediterranean cuisine. Their rise in popularity reflects broader trends in global food culture, where people seek out dishes that are nutritious, plant-based, and full of flavor. Despite the globalized versions of these foods, their rich cultural and historical roots remain a crucial part of their appeal. Biryani is one of South Asia's most celebrated dishes. This flavorful rice-based dish, typically prepared with meat, aromatic spices, and herbs, has become synonymous with luxury, celebration, and grandeur. The dish's origins can be traced back to the Mughal Empire in India, although its roots lie in Persia. It is believed that the Persians, particularly during the Safavid dynasty, influenced the Indian subcontinent with their own rice preparations, which were flavored with saffron, dry fruits, and rich meats. Biryani's history, like many other dishes, is tied to the movements of empires. The Mughal Empire, in particular, played a significant role in popularizing biryani across India. As the Mughals established their empire, they brought with them a rich culinary tradition that included Persian-inspired dishes, which were refined and adapted to the local tastes and ingredients of the Indian subcontinent. Biryani, with its layers of fragrant rice and spiced meat, was a dish that appealed to the Mughal nobility, and it soon spread beyond the royal courts to become a beloved dish across all classes. The Mughal Empire's introduction of biryani is often linked to the blending of Persian, Central Asian, and Indian flavors. What made biryani unique in India was its use of local spices such as cumin, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, which were incorporated into the Persian rice dish. The use of saffron and dry fruits added to the royal allure of the dish. Over time, the regional variations of biryani began to emerge as different regions in India put their own spin on the dish. The Hyderabadi biryani, the Lucknowi, Awadhi biryani, and the Kolkata biryani are some of the most famous variations, each boasting distinct differences in the preparation method, meat used, and spices. Biryani's rise in popularity can be attributed to its rich cultural significance. It became a food of luxury and celebration, often served during weddings, festivals, and other important gatherings. However, the dish also found a place in the everyday meals of working-class families, as its versatility allowed it to be made with various meats or vegetables. The labor-intensive cooking method of biryani, which involves marinating the meat and slow cooking the rice, was a symbol of culinary expertise, passed down through generations. In contemporary times, biryani continues to be a dish of great importance across South Asia. It is the centerpiece of many social gatherings, particularly in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Globalization has made biryani an internationally recognized dish, with restaurants worldwide offering their versions of this beloved meal. While the dish has evolved, its deep cultural and historical connections to the Mughal Empire and Persian culinary traditions remain central to its identity. Pomegranates and dates are two of the most iconic fruits in Middle Eastern cuisine, each holding profound historical and cultural significance. Pomegranates, with their vibrant red seeds and tart flavor, have been symbols of fertility, prosperity, and life for centuries. The fruit is native to the region between Iran and northern India, and its cultivation spread across the Middle East, Mediterranean, and even parts of Africa. In ancient cultures, pomegranates were revered for their medicinal properties and were often depicted in art and religious iconography. In the Middle East, pomegranates are a key ingredient in many dishes, from savory stews to refreshing salads. They also play an essential role in desserts, syrups, and juices. The fruit's use in cooking is often paired with ingredients like olive oil, yogurt, and nuts, creating a balance of sweet and savory flavors. Pomegranate molasses, a thick syrup made from reduced pomegranate juice, is a popular ingredient in Middle Eastern cuisine, adding depth and tanginess to dishes like fadish, tabbouleh, and kebabs. Dates, on the other hand, are often considered the fruit of the desert due to their ability to thrive in hot, arid climates. Dates have been cultivated in the Middle East for over 6,000 years, and their significance in the region cannot be overstated. Dates were a vital part of the diet for Bedouins and desert dwellers, providing essential nutrients and hydration in a harsh environment. Packed with sugar, fiber, and minerals, dates were not only a source of sustenance but also a means of preserving food in the form of dried dates, which could be stored for months. Both pomegranates and dates are used to mark religious and cultural occasions in the Middle East. In Islam, dates are consumed at the time of breaking the fast during Ramadan, symbolizing a moment of spiritual reflection and community. Similarly, pomegranates hold a special place in Islamic art and symbolism, often depicted as symbols of paradise in religious texts. The use of these fruits in Middle Eastern cuisine reflects a deep connection to the land, religion, and the seasons, underscoring the region's ancient agricultural traditions. Tea is another cultural icon that has played a vital role in shaping the history of the Middle East, South Asia, and beyond. While tea is most closely associated with East Asia, particularly China, its influence spread throughout the Middle East and South Asia, where it became an integral part of daily life and social rituals. Tea's journey to the Middle East and South Asia began with the ancient trade routes that connected China, India, and Persia. The popularity of tea grew significantly in the Mughal Empire, where it was adopted by the nobility as a beverage of sophistication and leisure. By the 17th century, the British East India Company began importing tea to India, which led to the establishment of tea plantations in the Indian subcontinent. The British influence in India greatly transformed the consumption of tea, with the British encouraging its cultivation in India to satisfy their growing demand for the beverage. Tea drinking became an essential part of British colonial life in India, and it quickly spread throughout the country. The British created a market for mass-produced tea, which led to the development of chai, a spiced tea made with milk, sugar, and a variety of spices. Chai is now a ubiquitous drink throughout India and has become an integral part of the country's cultural fabric. The spiced tea, often enjoyed on street corners by tea vendors known as chaiwalas, has become a symbol of hospitality and social connection. In the Middle East, tea became a central part of social life, particularly in countries like Turkey, Iran, and Lebanon. Turkish tea, known for its strong brew and served in small glasses, is an iconic part of Turkish culture. In Iran, tea is often served with sweets and enjoyed during long conversations, reflecting the importance of hospitality in Iranian society. Similarly, in Lebanon, tea is a symbol of hospitality, with guests often offered a cup of sweetened tea as a gesture of goodwill. The evolution of tea drinking across cultures, from the ancient tea ceremonies of China to the street-side chai stalls of India to the refined tea traditions of the Middle East, reflects the way food and drink are woven into the fabric of social life. Tea's global journey is a testament to the power of trade, migration, and cultural exchange in shaping the foods that we now take for granted. Africa's vast and diverse cultures have given rise to an extraordinary range of culinary traditions that have influenced not only the continent but also the rest of the world. The richness of African food is deeply tied to history, geography, and the movement of people across the continent and beyond. From the spice-rich dishes of North Africa to the hearty stews of the sub-Saharan region, African cuisine is a testament to the creativity and resourcefulness of its peoples. We explore some of the continent's most iconic culinary contributions, injera, jollof rice, and the broader influence of the African diaspora on global cuisine. Injera, a spongy, sour flatbread made from teff flour, is one of the most iconic foods in Ethiopian cuisine. Its historical and cultural significance goes far beyond its role as a staple food. Injera has long been a part of Ethiopian culture, serving as both a source of nutrition and a medium for communal eating. The origins of injera can be traced back thousands of years to the highlands of Ethiopia, where teff, a gluten-free grain, is grown. Teff's resilience in the harsh, mountainous terrain makes it an ideal crop for Ethiopia's climate. Injera is traditionally made by fermenting teff flour with water, allowing wild yeasts to cultivate a natural fermentation process. The resulting batter is then poured into a large, round pan, creating a pancake-like texture. The fermentation process gives injera its distinctive tangy flavor, which is key to its taste profile. Injera's role in Ethiopian culture extends beyond that of a food item. It is a symbol of Ethiopian hospitality, often used in communal meals that bring people together. In traditional Ethiopian dining, injera serves not only as a food but also as a platter for various stews, lentils, vegetables, and meats. The stews, known as wat, are placed on top of the injera, and diners tear off pieces of the bread to scoop up the flavorful dishes. This communal style of eating fosters a sense of unity and connection among people, and it is a cornerstone of Ethiopian social life. Injera is also deeply intertwined with Ethiopian identity and religious practices. The use of teff flour, an indigenous grain, is a point of pride for Ethiopians, as it has been cultivated in the region for millennia. Moreover, injera is often eaten during religious holidays and ceremonies, making it an integral part of Ethiopia's spiritual and cultural heritage. For instance, during the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's fasting periods, many Ethiopians eat vegetarian dishes served with injera, in keeping with religious practices. The cultural significance of injera extends beyond Ethiopia's borders as well. In the Ethiopian diaspora, particularly in cities like Washington, D.C., and London, injera serves as a culinary anchor for Ethiopian communities, helping preserve cultural traditions while also sharing Ethiopian food with the wider public. The unique texture and taste of injera, paired with its historical and cultural depth, make it a fascinating aspect of African culinary contributions. Jollof rice is one of West Africa's most beloved and widely recognized dishes. With its fragrant, savory flavor, jollof rice has become synonymous with festive occasions and communal gatherings across the region. The dish is made by cooking rice with a rich tomato sauce, onions, garlic, and a variety of spices, including thyme, bay leaves, and chili peppers. It is often served with meat, fish, or vegetables and is a staple at weddings, parties, and national celebrations. The origins of jollof rice are the subject of much debate, with several West African countries, particularly Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal, claiming to be its birthplace. Some food historians trace the dish back to Senegal, where it is known as sibu jen, a traditional rice dish cooked with fish, tomatoes, and vegetables. It is believed that the dish was introduced to other parts of West Africa through the transatlantic slave trade and the movement of people within the region. The rise of jollof rice as a culinary symbol of West Africa is a relatively recent development. The dish gained widespread popularity in the 20th century as West African communities began to embrace rice as a staple crop. In Nigeria, jollof rice became a central part of national celebrations, such as Independence Day and other national holidays. In Ghana, it is often served at the traditional chop bars, informal eateries where people gather to enjoy local foods. The so-called jollof wars among nations have become a lively topic of conversation across West Africa. These wars refer to the ongoing debates about which country makes the best jollof rice. The rivalry between Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof rice is perhaps the most famous. Each nation has its own version of the dish, with differing preparation methods and unique variations in flavor. Nigerians, for example, typically use more oil and a rich mix of seasonings, while Ghanaians may add a smoky flavor by cooking the rice over an open flame. The competition is so fierce that it has become a source of national pride, with jollof rice parties and cooking competitions being held regularly to determine the best version. Despite the rivalry, jollof rice has become a symbol of West African unity. It is a dish that transcends national borders, bringing people from different cultures and backgrounds together to share in the joys of communal eating. Jollof rice's appeal lies not only in its flavor but also in its versatility and ability to adapt to local tastes and ingredients. Whether served with fried plantains, grilled fish, or a variety of meats, jollof rice remains a beloved and iconic dish across the region. The African diaspora has had a profound influence on global cuisine, particularly in the Americas, the Caribbean, and parts of Europe. The transatlantic slave trade, which forcibly displaced millions of Africans to the Americas, resulted in the fusion of African culinary traditions with those of the indigenous populations and European colonizers. This fusion gave rise to new and unique culinary traditions that continue to shape the food landscape of the New World today. One of the most significant contributions of the African diaspora to global cuisine is the development of dishes like gumbo and jerk chicken, which have their roots in African cooking techniques and ingredients. These dishes have become emblematic of African American and Caribbean cuisine, respectively, and are celebrated for their rich flavors and complex histories. Gumbo, a hearty stew originating in Louisiana, is a prime example of African culinary influence in the United States. The dish, which typically includes seafood, sausage, and vegetables like okra and bell peppers, has roots in West African, French, and Spanish cooking traditions. The use of okra, for example, is directly linked to African culinary practices, as okra was introduced to the Americas by enslaved Africans. The creation of gumbo is often credited to the blending of various culinary traditions, with African slaves incorporating indigenous ingredients and French techniques into a dish that would become central to Creole cuisine. The rich, flavorful base of gumbo, made by creating a roux and simmering it with spices, stock, and meat, reflects the ingenuity of African cooks, who adapted their cooking methods to available ingredients. Jerk chicken, a spicy, marinated chicken dish originating in Jamaica, is another example of African influence in global cuisine. The technique of marinating and slow cooking meats over an open flame, which is central to jerk cooking, has strong African roots, particularly in the methods used by West African peoples. The ingredients used in jerk seasoning, Scotch bonnet peppers, allspice, thyme, and garlic, are all native to the Caribbean but also reflect the influence of African spices and cooking practices. Jerk chicken is often served with rice and peas, a dish that also has African origins, as it combines rice with legumes, a staple of West African diets. The African diaspora's influence extends far beyond the American South and the Caribbean. In the United Kingdom, for example, African Caribbean food has become a vital part of the multicultural food scene, with dishes like jerk chicken, curried goat, and rice and peas being enjoyed by people of all backgrounds. In Brazil, the legacy of the African diaspora can be seen in dishes like feijoada, a black bean stew made with pork and beef, which is a fusion of African, Portuguese, and indigenous Brazilian flavors. Today, the African diaspora continues to influence global cuisine in new and exciting ways. Chefs of African descent are gaining recognition for their ability to blend traditional African flavors with modern cooking techniques. As global food culture continues to evolve, the rich culinary heritage of Africa, shaped by centuries of history, migration, and cultural exchange, remains an essential part of the world's food story. American cuisine is often described as a melting pot of various cultural influences, reflecting the country's diverse history, the fusion of indigenous ingredients and European settlers' culinary traditions, and the contributions of enslaved Africans and immigrants. Over the centuries, American food has evolved into a unique and influential culinary tradition, one that has had a profound impact on the global food landscape. We will explore the evolution of some of the most iconic elements of American cuisine: hamburgers, barbecue, Thanksgiving dinner, and Creole and Cajun dishes. Each of these foods represents a blend of cultures and histories, and they serve as key examples of the way American food culture has shaped, and been shaped by, the world. The hamburger is arguably one of the most recognizable symbols of American cuisine, but its origins lie not in the United States but in Germany. The precursor to the modern hamburger can be traced to the city of Hamburg, where a minced beef patty, known as Hamburg steak, was popular among 19th-century German immigrants. These early German immigrants brought the concept of ground beef to America, where it would evolve into the sandwich we know today. The evolution of the hamburger into its present form was largely influenced by the rapid industrialization and urbanization of the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As American cities grew and the demand for fast, affordable food increased, the hamburger emerged as an ideal solution. In 1904, at the St. Louis World's Fair, the hamburger was first introduced to a wider audience, gaining popularity as a quick, satisfying meal that could be eaten on the go. The introduction of the hamburger in a bun, rather than as a standalone patty, was a key innovation that made the dish more convenient and portable. The hamburger's rise to fame was accelerated by the establishment of fast food chains like White Castle in 1921 and, most notably, McDonald's in 1940. These chains played a critical role in popularizing the hamburger as a national food staple, with McDonald's introducing a standardized production method that allowed for the mass production of hamburgers. This system not only made hamburgers more affordable but also created the foundation for the global spread of American fast food. By the mid-20th century, hamburgers had become synonymous with American culture and fast food. As American businesses expanded internationally, so did the hamburger. McDonald's, in particular, became a global phenomenon, with locations in over 100 countries. The global spread of hamburgers has had a profound impact on food culture worldwide, influencing the way fast food is perceived and consumed. However, the hamburger's global reach has also sparked debates about cultural imperialism, with critics arguing that the spread of American fast food undermines traditional culinary practices in other countries. Despite this, the hamburger has undergone a process of localization as it has spread around the world. In Japan, for example, you can find teriyaki burgers, while in India, vegetarian versions of the hamburger cater to local tastes and dietary restrictions. The hamburger has thus become a symbol of both American innovation and cultural exchange, adapting to different regional flavors and preferences while maintaining its status as a global food icon. Barbecue is another quintessentially American culinary tradition, but like the hamburger, it has roots in other cultures. The term barbecue is believed to have originated from the Spanish word barbacoa, which referred to a method of slow-cooking meat over an open fire. This technique was adopted by indigenous peoples in the Caribbean, who used it to cook fish and other meats, and was later brought to the American South by European colonizers and enslaved Africans. Barbecue in the United States is a fusion of indigenous, African, and European culinary traditions. Indigenous Americans taught European settlers the technique of slow-cooking meat over a wood fire, a practice that became an integral part of Southern cuisine. However, it was the African slaves who profoundly shaped the development of American barbecue. Enslaved Africans brought with them a deep knowledge of cooking over fire and slow-cooking meat, and they played a key role in refining barbecue techniques, particularly in the South. Barbecue as it is known in the United States today is characterized by slow-cooked meat, typically pork, beef, or chicken, that is seasoned with a variety of rubs, marinades, and sauces. The distinct regional styles of barbecue that exist across the country reflect the diverse cultural influences that have shaped this dish. In the Carolinas, for example, barbecue is traditionally made with pork and is often served with a vinegar-based sauce, reflecting the influence of English and African cooking methods. In Texas, beef brisket is the star, and the sauce is often a tomato-based one, showcasing the state's connection to its Mexican and German immigrant populations. The evolution of American barbecue has been influenced by regional ingredients and local preferences. In Memphis, ribs are the focus, while in Kansas City, barbecue is known for its sweet, molasses-based sauce. In Alabama, a mayonnaise-based white sauce is used to complement chicken and pork. Despite the regional differences, one thing is clear: barbecue is a symbol of American culinary tradition, a dish that brings people together around a communal meal and represents the spirit of Southern hospitality. Barbecue's influence extends far beyond the United States. The technique of cooking meat over fire has been adopted and adapted in many countries around the world, from Argentina to South Africa, each with its own unique twist on the concept of barbecue. The global popularity of American-style barbecue has led to the establishment of barbecue festivals and competitions, where enthusiasts from different countries come together to showcase their skills and share their love for this beloved American tradition. Thanksgiving is one of the most iconic American holidays, and its associated meal, typically featuring turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce, has become a symbol of American culinary tradition. However, the origins of these dishes and the holiday itself are steeped in complex history, influenced by indigenous, European, and African culinary practices. The story of Thanksgiving dates back to the early 17th century, when English pilgrims arrived in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and celebrated a feast with the indigenous Wampanoag people. While the historical accuracy of this narrative has been debated, it is clear that early Thanksgiving meals included foods that were available to both the settlers and the indigenous peoples of the region. Wildfowl, including turkeys, was a common feature of these feasts, as were maize, corn, and other vegetables cultivated by the Wampanoag. The modern Thanksgiving meal, with its focus on turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce, has evolved over centuries. Turkey became the centerpiece of the meal largely because of its availability in the wild and its size, which made it ideal for large gatherings. The tradition of stuffing the turkey, however, is thought to have European origins, as stuffing meats was a common practice in both England and France. The stuffing typically consists of breadcrumbs, herbs, and vegetables, though regional variations abound. Cranberry sauce, another essential component of the Thanksgiving meal, has its roots in indigenous cuisine. Native Americans were the first to cultivate cranberries, and they used the berries in a variety of dishes, including sauces and jams. When the Pilgrims arrived in North America, they learned from the indigenous people how to prepare cranberries for consumption, and cranberry sauce eventually became a staple of the Thanksgiving meal. While Thanksgiving dinner is now a highly anticipated celebration in the United States, its historical and culinary roots are a reflection of the complex cultural interactions that shaped the nation. The meal itself, like American cuisine in general, is a blend of indigenous, European, and African influences that have come together to create a uniquely American food tradition. Creole and Cajun cuisines are two of the most celebrated culinary traditions in the American South, particularly in Louisiana. Both of these regional cuisines have been shaped by a mixture of French, Spanish, African, and Native American influences, and they represent the fusion of cultures that has been a hallmark of Louisiana's history. Creole cuisine is often associated with the city of New Orleans and is characterized by its use of rich, flavorful sauces, seafood, and aromatic spices. The French influence on Creole cooking is evident in the use of butter, cream, and wine-based sauces, while the Spanish contributed to the use of peppers, tomatoes, and rice. African influence is seen in the use of okra, which is a staple in dishes like gumbo, while Native American ingredients, such as corn and beans, also play a role in Creole cooking. Cajun cuisine, which originated in rural Louisiana, is often considered simpler and more rustic than Creole cuisine. The Cajun people, descendants of French-speaking settlers from Canada, developed their own distinctive style of cooking, which emphasizes the use of local ingredients like crawfish, game, and vegetables. Cajun dishes are often spicier than Creole dishes and feature bold flavors created through techniques like slow braising and deep frying. The use of the holy trinity of onions, celery, and bell peppers is a hallmark of Cajun cooking, and it serves as the base for many dishes, including gumbo and jambalaya. Both Creole and Cajun cuisines have had a profound impact on American food culture and have influenced chefs and food enthusiasts around the world. Today, dishes like gumbo, jambalaya, and crawfish étouffée are enjoyed not only in Louisiana but across the United States and internationally. The flavors of Creole and Cajun cuisine, with their rich blend of spices, herbs, and cultural influences, continue to captivate food lovers and reflect the dynamic, multicultural heritage of the American South. Asian cuisine is as diverse as the continent itself, with each region offering a unique set of flavors, ingredients, and cooking techniques. From the intricate preparation of sushi in Japan to the comforting warmth of pho in Vietnam, Asia's culinary traditions are celebrated worldwide. Over the centuries, many Asian dishes have made their way beyond the borders of their countries of origin, finding global popularity and evolving through fusion with other culinary traditions. This chapter explores 4 significant aspects of Asian cuisine: sushi, kimchi, pho, and the growing phenomenon of fusion cuisine. Each of these dishes highlights the rich cultural history of Asia and illustrates how food can serve as a bridge between cultures, both regionally and globally. Sushi is one of Japan's most iconic and celebrated culinary traditions, but its origins can be traced back to Southeast Asia, specifically to a dish called narazushi that dates back to the 8th century. Narazushi was a method of preserving fish by fermenting it in rice, which was discarded after fermentation. Over time, the Japanese adapted this preservation method into a more refined form, eventually creating what we know as modern sushi. The evolution of sushi in Japan is closely tied to the country's development of rice cultivation, particularly in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, when sushi began to take on its current form. During this period, Edomizushi, Edo-style sushi, emerged in Tokyo, made with fresh fish rather than fermented ones. This new style of sushi became popular among the working class of Edo, modern-day Tokyo, who enjoyed it as a quick, affordable snack. The key to the appeal of sushi lies in its delicate balance of vinegared rice, fresh seafood, and other ingredients such as vegetables, seaweed, and sometimes egg. Sushi's journey from a traditional Japanese dish to a global phenomenon began in the 20th century, largely due to the influence of Japanese immigrants and the opening of Japan to the outside world after World War II. In the post-war era, sushi began to appear in major international cities such as New York, Paris, and London, where it was embraced as both an exotic and healthy dining option. The 1980s marked the rise of sushi restaurants in the West, with the creation of new types of sushi, such as the California roll, which featured avocado and crab, or imitation crab, instead of raw fish. The popularity of sushi around the world can be attributed to its accessibility, its emphasis on fresh and high-quality ingredients, and its association with health-conscious eating. Sushi has also been adapted to suit local tastes and dietary preferences. In the United States, for example, sushi rolls may include cooked ingredients such as shrimp tempura, while in the Middle East, sushi may incorporate ingredients like hummus or tzatziki. Today, sushi has become a staple of global cuisine, available in nearly every major city worldwide. The rise of sushi has not been without controversy, particularly regarding the sustainability of certain fish species, such as tuna. Overfishing has led to a decrease in the availability of high-quality fish, and as a result, many sushi chefs and restaurants are turning to sustainable practices by offering alternative fish options or using plant-based ingredients. Despite these challenges, sushi's cultural significance as a symbol of Japanese craftsmanship and tradition remains strong, and its continued global popularity ensures that it will remain a significant part of the world's culinary landscape. Kimchi is often considered Korea's national dish, embodying the country's rich cultural heritage, deep respect for fermentation, and appreciation for bold, complex flavors. At its core, kimchi is a type of fermented vegetable dish, most commonly made with napa cabbage and radishes, seasoned with chili pepper, garlic, ginger, fish sauce, and other spices. While the most well-known variety is kimchi made with napa cabbage, there are countless regional variations, each with its own combination of vegetables and seasoning blends. The history of kimchi dates back over 2,000 years, to the time of the Three Kingdoms of Korea, when the practice of preserving vegetables through fermentation was developed. Initially, kimchi was made using simple methods of fermentation without the use of chili peppers, which were introduced to Korea in the late 16th century after contact with the Portuguese. The inclusion of chili peppers transformed kimchi into the spicy, tangy dish that is familiar today. Kimchi holds a central place in Korean culture, and it is consumed with nearly every meal, whether as a side dish, condiment, or even incorporated into soups, stews, and pancakes. The preparation of kimchi is considered an important cultural ritual, especially during kimjang, the process of making large quantities of kimchi in preparation for the winter. Kimjang, which involves family and community collaboration, was inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List in 2013, highlighting the social and cultural importance of this traditional practice. In addition to its cultural significance, kimchi is also prized for its health benefits. As a fermented food, kimchi contains beneficial probiotics that promote gut health and digestion. Studies have also shown that kimchi is rich in vitamins A and C, as well as antioxidants, and it may contribute to improved immune function and overall well-being. The fermentation process also helps to enhance the bioavailability of nutrients in the vegetables, making kimchi a highly nutritious addition to the diet. Kimchi's popularity has expanded beyond Korea's borders, gaining a dedicated following in countries around the world. Korean restaurants and food markets globally often feature kimchi as a key ingredient, and many chefs are experimenting with creative ways to incorporate kimchi into contemporary dishes. In the United States, for example, kimchi has been used as a topping for burgers, pizzas, and tacos, while in Europe, it has been featured in fusion dishes such as kimchi croquettes and kimchi quesadillas. The global recognition of kimchi as a healthy, flavorful food has also contributed to the growing interest in Korean cuisine, especially in the West. Pho, pronounced pho, is a beloved Vietnamese dish that has won over the hearts of food lovers around the world. Pho is a fragrant noodle soup traditionally made with beef or chicken, rice noodles, and a clear, aromatic broth flavored with spices such as star anise, cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. The dish is typically served with a variety of fresh garnishes, such as basil, lime, bean sprouts, and chili, allowing diners to adjust the flavor to their preferences. The origins of pho are somewhat debated, but the dish is generally believed to have originated in northern Vietnam during the late 19th or early 20th century. Pho's development was heavily influenced by the country's colonial history, particularly during French rule. The French brought with them culinary influences, including the use of beef as a primary protein, which contributed to the development of pho as a beef-based dish. Additionally, the French introduced the concept of pot-au-feu, a French beef stew that may have inspired the aromatic broth of pho. Pho quickly gained popularity in Vietnam, particularly in the northern city of Hanoi, where it became a staple of street food culture. However, it was during the Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975, that pho spread throughout the country, as refugees from the north brought their regional versions of pho to the south. The dish underwent regional variations in the south, where it became known for its sweeter broth and greater variety of garnishes. Pho's popularity surged after the war, and by the 1980s, it had become a global phenomenon, with Vietnamese immigrants introducing it to cities in the United States, Australia, and Europe. Pho is a dish that represents both the colonial history and the resilience of the Vietnamese people. While the dish has evolved over time, it remains a symbol of Vietnamese national identity and culinary tradition. Today, pho can be found in Vietnamese restaurants around the world, and its influence can be seen in the proliferation of pho-inspired dishes such as pho bowls and pho burgers. Fusion cuisine refers to the blending of culinary traditions from different cultures to create new, innovative dishes. In recent years, fusion cuisine has become a prominent feature of modern Asian culinary landscapes, where traditional flavors and cooking techniques are combined with influences from other parts of the world. One notable example of fusion cuisine in Asia is the phenomenon of Indian Chinese food, a genre of cooking that emerged in Kolkata, formerly Calcutta, during the colonial period. Indian Chinese cuisine combines Chinese cooking techniques, such as stir-frying and steaming, with Indian spices and flavors. Dishes like chili chicken, Manchurian, a fried, spicy vegetable or meat dish, and fried rice with Indian spices have become popular not only in India but also in countries with large Indian diaspora populations. In Singapore, the dish known as laksa is a perfect example of fusion cuisine. Laksa is a spicy noodle soup that combines elements of Chinese and Malay cuisine. The dish's origins can be traced to the Peranakan, Straits Chinese, community, whose ancestors were Chinese immigrants who intermarried with Malays. Laksa's base is a rich, aromatic broth made with coconut milk, tamarind, and shrimp paste, and it is typically served with rice noodles or vermicelli. Over the centuries, laksa has evolved into several regional variations, with different types of noodles, proteins, and seasonings used in different parts of Singapore and Malaysia. Fusion cuisine in modern Asia is not limited to the blending of traditional dishes with foreign influences. Many chefs are now reinterpreting classic dishes in creative ways, combining techniques from molecular gastronomy, modernist cuisine, and traditional methods to create unique dining experiences. For example, chefs in Japan are experimenting with the use of liquid nitrogen to create frozen sushi or using sous vide cooking techniques to prepare traditional Japanese broths with more precise temperature control. Similarly, in Thailand, chefs are creating new takes on traditional street foods by incorporating international ingredients like quinoa or avocado into Thai curries and salads. The growing trend of fusion cuisine in modern Asia reflects the region's openness to experimentation and cultural exchange. As Asian food continues to evolve and influence global dining trends, fusion cuisine will likely remain a key component of the culinary landscape. Food is a powerful cultural and social connector that transcends borders, time periods, and traditions. It has been a constant and catalyst for change, serving as a mirror of societal values, a bridge between cultures, and a canvas for creativity. The movement of food across continents has shaped global cultures and introduced diverse culinary traditions. The Columbian exchange resulted in the introduction of ingredients such as tomatoes, potatoes, and maize from the Americas to Europe, Asia, and Africa, while foods like sugar, coffee, and spices found their way from the Old World to the New, creating a cultural and economic web of interconnectedness. Even in today's globalized world, food continues to reflect the interconnectedness of humanity through the exchange of culinary traditions. In cities across the globe, people from different cultural backgrounds live side by side, often through food, finding common ground in shared experiences and flavor profiles. Every dish has a history, a narrative that speaks of human resilience, creativity, and adaptability in the face of challenges. Food is deeply connected to the stories of the people who create and consume it. Every dish has a history, a narrative that speaks of human resilience, creativity, and adaptability in the face of challenges. Throughout history, food has reflected the changing dynamics of human societies, be it in times of war, migration, or economic hardship, and served as a testament to human innovation and survival. The stories told through food are also ones of cultural preservation and adaptation. Many cuisines have evolved over time to accommodate new ingredients or cooking methods, but they have also preserved the essence of their origins. For example, the spice trade brought exotic ingredients to different parts of the world, leading to the incorporation of spices like black pepper, cardamom, and cinnamon into various cuisines. As we look to the future, food will continue to play an important role in shaping human history. The ongoing challenges of climate change, population growth, and technological advancements will create new opportunities and challenges for the global food system. Sustainable practices such as regenerative agriculture, vertical farming, and lab-grown meat offer potential solutions to reduce the ecological footprint of food production while maintaining a diverse and accessible food supply.